Hello and welcome back to the show. I'm Aurelia, and today we're diving into a hot topic that has been drawing both excitement and frustration in the investment world: short term rentals, particularly platforms like Airbnb. Now, if you've been following real estate trends over the last decade, you know that Airbnb transformed how people travel and how investors think about property. For many, it looked like the perfect opportunity: higher nightly rates compared to long term rentals, flexibility for personal use, and global demand from travelers looking for something more authentic than a hotel room. But here's the reality check: short term rentals are not a guaranteed gold mine. They come with the unique set of challenges that can turn what looks like a dream investment into a financial headache. Today, we'll break those challenges down and talk about what every investor needs to know before diving in. Challenge 1: regulation and legal hurdles. Let's start with the biggest elephant in the room: regulations. Cities around the world are tightening rules on short term rentals. Why? Because local residents are frustrated by rising rents, noise complaints, and entire neighborhoods turning into de facto hotels. Take New York City as an example. In 2023, new laws practically wiped out thousands of Airbnb listings because owners could no longer rent out whole apartments for fewer than 30 days unless they were physically present. Similar restrictions are happening in places like Barcelona, Amsterdam, and even smaller towns. For investors, this creates massive uncertainty. Imagine buying a property with the expectation of short term rental income, only to find out 6 months later that new zoning rules or licensing requirements make your business model illegal. It's not just lost revenue, it can mean expensive legal battles, fines, or the need to completely pivot to long term rentals, often with lower returns. So, the first challenge is this: the regulatory environment is unpredictable, and investors need to be prepared for shifting sands. Challenge 2: market saturation and competition. Now, even if you clear the legal hurdles, there's another issue: competition. The early days of Airbnb were like the Wild West: a handful of hosts in each city and lots of demand. Fast forward to today, and in some markets, supply has exploded. You might have hundreds of listings competing in the same neighborhood, all offering similar amenities. I once spoke with an investor who bought a beachside condo thinking it would be booked out year round. For the first summer, she made great money. But by the next year, dozens of new condos were listed in the same area. Her occupancy rates dropped, she had to slash prices, and suddenly the returns weren't looking so attractive. That's the reality of saturation. To stand out today, investors need more than just a property. They need strong branding, unique guest experiences, and clever differentiation, and that takes work. Challenge 3: seasonality and income volatility. The third big challenge is volatility. Short term rentals are highly seasonal. Think about beach towns or ski resorts. You might be fully booked in peak season, charging premium rates, but come low season, your occupancy could drop to single digits. Unlike long term leases that guarantee steady monthly income, Airbnb revenue can swing wildly. This volatility makes it harder to plan cash flow, especially if you have a mortgage, maintenance, or property management costs that don't take a holiday when bookings slow down. And then there's global shocks. Remember during the COVID-19 pandemic when travel halted overnight? Short-term rental investors were among the hardest hit. Many had to scramble, pivot to long-term tenants, or in some cases, sell their properties altogether. Challenge 4: operating costs and hidden expenses. Another overlooked challenge: expenses. At first glance, $200 per night looks amazing compared to a $1,500 monthly lease. But let's peel back the numbers. Short-term rentals come with higher operating costs, constant cleaning, laundry, restocking supplies, higher utility bills, and wear and tear from frequent turnover. Adding professional photography, dynamic pricing software, booking fees, and property management services if you don't want to be on call 24/7. Suddenly, that big nightly rate shrinks quickly. Many new investors underestimate just how much it costs to keep a property guest ready all year round. And if you cut corners, you risk poor reviews, which can sink your visibility on platforms like Airbnb. Challenge 5: guest management and risk. Finally, let's talk about guests. Most are wonderful, respectful travelers who just want a comfortable stay. But every investor eventually faces challenges here. You might have guests who throw parties, damage furniture, or sneak in extra people, even with Airbnb's host guarantees. The claims process can be slow and stressful. On top of that, constant communication, from answering late night questions to handling last minute cancellations, can feel like running a full-time hospitality business. One host I know once had guests who left behind not only a trashed apartment, but also unpaid damages that took months to recover. The emotional stress was almost worse than the financial loss. Stories like these remind us that Airbnb hosting isn't just about property, it's about people. And people, as we know, can be unpredictable. And here's the truth: many investors underestimate how hands on this business can be. Unless you hire a property manager, you're not just an investor, you're a hotelier, a cleaner, a marketer, and a customer service rep, all rolled into one. Conclusion. So, where does this leave us? Short-term rentals can still be profitable and exciting, but they are far from passive income. They require strategic planning, resilience to regulation shifts, and a realistic understanding of expenses and risks. If you're considering investing in Airbnb or similar platforms, go in with your eyes wide open. Do your homework on local regulations, analyze market saturation, and plan for volatility. And most importantly, treat it like a business, not a side hustle. Because at the end of the day, those who succeed in this space aren't just investors, they're operators who balance profit with professionalism. That's all for today's episode. I'm Aurelia, and I hope this conversation helps you navigate the exciting but challenging world of short term rental investing. Thanks for listening. And don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in my next podcast.